Do you ever laugh and cry at the same time? That's like the epitome of being human. I just wanted to make a video and share some tips. There's 10 tips, things that I've done to help with my own depression, seasonal depression, regular depression, whatever it is. It's a bitch. Life sucks sometimes, you guys, but there's shit you can do to make it better. So if you don't know me, I'm Tweedledoob, also known as Marley. My mom did not name me Tweedledoob. I'm so inspired by everybody that talks about their mental health and is open with their struggles. You inspire me a lot. So thank you if you're one of those people. So just for a little bit of context, I'm 33 years old. Almost 20 years ago, I was diagnosed with depression and prescribed Zoloft. I was also seeing a therapist, but I was not ready to deal with my issues. I just wasn't open to it. I don't even really know how to describe it. As a teenager, it's really hard to process sometimes what you're dealing with and what you're going through, and medication seemed like a logical thing because I was like, oh no, like I don't have problems, I just feel sad. I don't know why. I would tell myself I didn't know why I felt the way I did for a really long time. So antidepressants were pretty appealing. So, speaking of which, I'm gonna roll a joint right now. So if you don't like cannabis, I'm really sorry. You don't have to smell it or smoke it. You just have to watch me smoke it. So anyways, I was prescribed Zoloft. I don't remember how long I took it, but not for very long because I found that it didn't really help me. It kind of numbed me a bit. Like I wouldn't feel like this overwhelming sorrow, but I also didn't really feel joy. It kind of just sucked the life out of me. But because it did help sort of dampen things, I found myself, when I was having a particularly bad day, maybe instead of one Zoloft, I'd take two, and then if it wasn't working, maybe I'd take another one. And I just remember this one day, I was feeling pretty rough, and I had taken, I don't know how many more than I was supposed to, but I could feel my throat starting to close up, and it scared the fuck out of me. I was like, oh, what is this doing to me? Like, it's clearly not actually helping my issues, and it's doing some fucked up stuff to my body. Like, I need to be able to breathe. This is important. So I stopped right then. That was the last time I took an antidepressant other than weed. Quick interjection. Just in editing this, I realized that there's something I really wanted to clarify. Just because pharmaceuticals were not for me doesn't mean that they have no value. Obviously, some people find SSRIs and other antidepressants very valuable. I think from this video, you'll see that my main point is that changing perspective, getting out of your head, dealing with your shit is like what you gotta do, and whatever you need to do to be able to do that, that's what's important. So no judgment. Pharmaceuticals might be the answer for you. Just do your research and be super careful. Okay, back to the video. It took, honestly, I probably repressed my issues for about 10 years. And that sounds fucked up, but it's 100% true. I just tried to do everything else to avoid it, to move on, to just make things better. I thought this can't be what life is. I'm a fucking teenager. Like, shit's gotta get better. I just gotta, like, keep pushing, you know? And so I did. I have seen many a therapist since that time. It's really challenging to find somebody that you trust and respect their opinion and feel like open to talking to them about your issues or whatever's going on. So therapy, if you can afford it, I 100% recommend finding somebody great that you can talk to. It's a game changer. But I know a lot of people can't. It's just not possible. So there are, most places will, in North America anyway, will have some sort of free resources. There's often crazy long waiting lists and people are left feeling uncared for, or like they don't have the resources that they need. But we have this magical thing called the internet, and it's really phenomenal for people struggling with mental health. If you know where to look, there's all of the resources that you could need, and all of the people that have gone through it before that tell their stories and can help you kind of get through whatever it is you're going through. So if this is not entirely obvious, I'm not a mental health professional. I am still somebody that deals with depression, so it's not like I'm like, oh, these are my 10 tips to make you never depressed again. It's no. I'm sorry. I wish I had a fucking magic wand to just make it all go away, but I don't. It doesn't exist. But these are just things that have helped me make progress and also just in the moment help me kind of on a day-to-day basis. Oh, I'm fucking struggling here. Just to make you feel a little bit better and just to make you feel like you're getting better. Even if you're not better. If you're on that upwards trajectory, you're doing good. So let's just get right to it after I lick this drink close. My first piece of advice, number one tip, write. Get a piece of paper and a pen and just write. If something's bugging you, just write it down. And I think that this act it seems so simple, but it's really, the benefit is twofold for me. I think one, first, it helps you get distance from your thoughts. It helps you get those things that you're feeling and can't really put into words. It's a feeling, it's a whole thing, and there's like a train of thought or like a spiral. Maybe it's a downward spiral. Whatever it is, once you put it out on paper, the nature of it changes. The relationship that you have with those thoughts changes. You can now see it. It's a physical thing, and you can reflect with a little bit more distance. And sometimes, even if all it does is stop those spiraling thoughts, I think it's worth doing. I think the other benefit is that if you continue to write, just that record of your thoughts, being able to look back and say, hey, I've been writing about this one thing that fucks me up for like 6 months now. Maybe your relationship to it has changed, maybe it hasn't, but it'll help give you some clarity and just a little bit more perspective. Also important, if your excuse for not doing this is that you think somebody is going to read your thoughts or read your journal, what I would suggest is still write it, but just write it on a piece of paper and then like burn that piece of paper or tear it up into a million pieces and blow it into the wind. Whatever you do, I think it's the act of writing. It's the most important. Sometimes it's really hard to get myself to write. If I'm in a super bad place, I have no energy. I'm like, what am I even gonna write about? It doesn't even matter. And then just to kind of turn off that analytical part of yourself and just let your hand go. Just write. It will be a release, I promise. Just try it. Number 2, tackle your trauma. You gotta face that shit head on, and it is not easy. It's not easy at all. The more you can sit with yourself, oh god, how much crying am I gonna have to edit out of this video? I think the ability to really sit with yourself and tell yourself your own story, and writing helps with this to get that distance from it. But it's painful. It's painful to sit with your own issues. If you don't have a therapist or somebody that you can talk to, this can be a very overwhelming process. But I think for me, with 10 years of repressing my issues, I can tell you that as soon as I started to deal with things, it all sort of started to unfold and change, and it was really overwhelming, but ultimately really healthy, and the only way that I could ever really make progress. If you're constantly just like trying to distract yourself or avoid your issues, shit ain't gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. So in tackling your issues and tackling your trauma or whatever it is, sometimes we don't have the tools that we need to really make sense of it. You know, there's been times where I've been like, okay, I'm gonna deal with this, and I go through it all and it doesn't make sense and I can't understand myself. And something that's really helped me is YouTube. YouTube's the fucking best because everybody's made videos about everything. TED Talks are really great. If you can find a TED Talk on your issue, it's really powerful. It's really, really powerful what you can learn from other people's struggles, whether they're mental health professionals or people that have just been through it. Getting other people's perspectives and other people's tips, it can totally be a game changer. One video could change your life. One of my favorite things to learn about is cognitive behavioral therapy. I think it's absolutely fascinating. It's a really positive perspective and way to look at your life and your issues, and it gives you the tools to deal with it and to manage it moving forward. It doesn't tell you that you're gonna like fix yourself and then be good forever. It's like, this is a process and you gotta just fucking roll with it and keep rolling with it. So YouTube is an incredible resource. Use it. I'm gonna spark this joint finally instead of just waving it around. So the next thing on my list, is this 4? I think this is 4. Is really hard for me, and I think hard for a lot of people that struggle with depression. Talk to someone. It's incredible. It's incredible the power that we have over each other. And reaching out is so huge. So huge. And I struggle with this a lot. I want to be there for anybody that needs somebody to talk to, and I offer that to everyone. But when I need it, I don't do it. Straight up. I'm getting better. But for my whole life in dealing with my depression, I've been terrible at talking about it. It's just something that I kind of keep to myself. I don't know how to put it into words. I don't want to be a burden on other people. I feel like people won't understand. Or if I don't choose my words correctly, it'll get twisted and skewed. And then this person has this idea of me in their head that's like inaccurate, and I hate that. So I'd rather just not say anything at all. And it's really not healthy. I think over the years, it's actually really taken a toll on a lot of my relationships, and coming to terms with that is really difficult. Being aware of it is great, but then it's still like, that's not enough. You still every day have to try to communicate with people and improve those relationships and improve your skills to be able to say, hey, I'm really struggling right now. This is what I need from you. Or do you have time to just hang out? I think sometimes all we need is like to connect with somebody. So maybe you just see a friend and you go for a walk and you drink a coffee. Oh, coffee. Oh, coffee. Oh, coffee. Hold on. Maybe you watch a movie. Maybe you just look at stupid memes on the internet together. Whatever it is, I think just being with somebody and connecting with somebody and not necessarily talking about your issues, I think can be a really big boost of energy for people. And sometimes that little, just that thing that you need to kind of shift you out of your perspective and shift you out of whatever dark place you're in. Now, I know some of you maybe don't have somebody that you can reach out to, whether it's to talk about your depression or whatever you're going through, or just to hang out. I feel for you. I totally understand what it is to isolate yourself. Throat choked on some non-existent coffee. But again, the internet is incredible. So many people are online. The world is at your thumb tips. Just connecting to other humans is so healthy for you. And I really hope that you push yourself to reach out to somebody and fuck out of here. Do you ever laugh and cry at the same time? I think that's like to me, that's like the epitome of being human. So my next tip would be just to show some love. When you show love, you get love back. So whether it's to a friend or a family member, just reach out and say, hey, thank you so much for supporting me or loving me or being my friend, caring about me. just put some love out into the world. Even if it's to a stranger, go scroll a hashtag that you like and just leave some random kindness for people. It sounds so simple and it seems like it wouldn't do anything, but really giving love when you're feeling really low yourself can feel good. Pets and animals also like love, and giving love to some, if you have a pet, you know they love your love. But if you don't have a pet, you could always go to like a SPCA or Humane Society. There's lots of animals there that need love, and you can just go and love them for free. Might make you feel better. So the last few things are all more physical things. First one, I'm gonna say improve your space. I'm not gonna say clean your house, but make an intentional move to make your space feel better, whatever that might mean to you. Maybe it's hanging a piece of art on the wall, or picking up all your laundry, putting it in the laundry basket, even if you don't do the laundry. Just do something. Maybe spend 5 or 10 minutes just improving your space, and then sit and have a look around and realize that maybe you feel a little better. Your depression's probably not cured. If it is, that's absolutely incredible, but it's not gonna be. If you feel just marginally better, that's good, right? That's what you want. You want to feel better. So I also think like the satisfaction of doing something productive can boost your mood. We can kind of like, if you're in a bad depressive cycle, you can kind of just get in a super low energy zone where nothing matters and you don't care. Sometimes we wait for motivation to act, but sometimes you just need to act first and then the motivation will come. You listen to that back again, I swear it makes sense. Did that make sense? Or even just tell yourself you're going to spend 5 minutes cleaning your house. You're going to do up a couple dishes, or you're going to wipe down the counter in the bathroom. You're going to do one little thing, and after you do that thing, you might surprise yourself and just keep going. Maybe you'll spend 10 minutes or 20 minutes or an hour or whatever it is. Just let yourself do it. Go with the flow and see how you feel afterwards. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know I love to dance. Like this. If you can just put on some music and totally let your mind go, just let your body feel the music. It sounds so cheesy, but just get in that flow state where you can just move and be taken over by something other than yourself and your own thoughts. Again, whether it's 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, a little dance party can go a long way. Trust me. I've found it super therapeutic, and it's just a really great way to sort of bring my energy up. If you need some great music to dance to, go on Spotify, search Tweedledoob, and I've got a banging playlist. It's like 15 hours or something crazy like that. It's called Jungle Party. And like, I dare you to listen to that and not dance. Like, come on, just try. But really, dance is a very powerful thing. Just moving your body. I think a lot of people that are depressed get so stuck in their heads, and just to move that energy throughout your body, turn your brain off for a couple minutes and just vibe out. It's definitely an energy booster. And it's a great way to just feel good for a couple minutes and then see where that energy takes you. Maybe you'll clean the house. Maybe you'll feel like you want to do some writing. Maybe you'll feel like there's something else that you can do with that energy to help your day get better and make tomorrow better, and etc. So similar to dancing, it's not really similar to dancing. So another thing, okay, I think we're on tip 9. So number 9, make some art even if you suck. It truly doesn't matter what the outcome is. Sometimes just the act of making something abstract is really satisfying, and it's a good distraction for you. Your brain is still sort of thinking and sort of active, but you're focused on a task, and the more you can detach yourself from the outcome, like you're not trying to make this perfect thing, you're just doing it for the process and doing it for the sake of itself, I think it can be really powerful. I know for me, like, to sit down and write, you have to really be present and have that, like, energy and intention to sit and be with yourself. But when you make art and I think for me, it's like putting it into words and making things concrete and real and trying to express the most accurate way to. Art isn't like that. Like, it might feel good. You don't know. You don't know yet. Don't judge me. Humans are so largely metaphor. We like to think of ourselves as these, like, very cut and dry, I am this person living in this place and blah, 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 but you can quantify everything, but it's hard to qualify everything. So with art, you can just express yourself in a much more fluid way, I guess, and without putting pressure on words and meanings and connotations. Really, depending on the materials you use, it can be very inexpensive. Like if you have paper and a pencil, or you could go to the dollar store and buy watercolors or buy crayons or whatever, and just the act of like scribbling can help you kind of like release what you're thinking. It sounds crazy, but try it. Just try it. Okay. The last thing on my list, if you're still watching, you're amazing and I love you and I hope this has been helpful. The last thing on my list is maybe the most controversial, or like the only one that's controversial. Like nobody's going to tell you not to dance. But I've recently been microdosing with psilocybin or magic mushrooms. Usually about 1/4 gram, so 0.2 to 0.3 of a gram. They call it a subperceptual dose. So if you're feeling high or feeling any kind of like psychedelic effect, you've taken too much for a microdose. That is not a microdose. It's really helped with my energy and my mood on those days that I do try it. And usually my mood is improved for at least a couple days afterwards. My mindset is just lighter and clearer. If I've really been in a fog, it can really help. But it's not without its risks. Obviously, in most places on Earth, it is illegal. So you are taking a risk to obtain psilocybin. There are places that offer psilocybin-assisted therapy. There's also other psychedelic therapies that are being researched right now. I'm not recommending psilocybin to everyone, but I think if you're someone who's made it to the end of this video and you're somebody that's struggled with depression for a long time and tried a whole bunch of things that haven't worked, do your research. See if it's for you. It's definitely not for everyone. If you have a family history of schizophrenia, bipolar, or if you're on SSRIs or other medications, it is not recommended for you. It can be a very intense experience, and you definitely want to be prepared in a multitude of ways for that experience, and it's really important that you do your own research and take responsibility for that before you decide to try it and potentially have a bad experience. Because as incredible and life-changing in a positive way that psychedelics can be, there's also the potential for things to go wrong and for you to have a bad trip that could have potentially long-lasting negative effects in a lot of areas of your life. It's nothing to play with. So please do your research, do lots of research. I'm really excited about the future of psychedelic research for all kinds of different mental health issues, including PTSD, depression, anxiety, etc. Also just for the societal issues of opioid crisis, so many suicides. Like we're in the shitter right now, you guys. That's partially why I'm making this video, because I know that there's people that are going to watch this and it's going to mean something to them and it could make a difference for them, and I don't want to sound preachy. I don't want to I'm always very hesitant or trying to be very careful about the way I talk about mental health, because it is something that I deal with, so it's very personal to me. But I do feel a responsibility to talk and be open and share and put myself out there about all this shit. So I don't remember how that sentence started, but I'm going to finish this video now. So thank you for watching. I really do love you. I know I probably don't even know you, but I saw a meme recently that was like, if people can hate other people randomly, then I can love other people randomly. And I'm like, yes, that is how I feel. That is how I feel. So I love you.